Hey guys, it is Caleb with the Stain and Seal Experts podcast. Thanks for tuning in. We got a great guest today. Basically, we're going to talk about the relationship and how important it is to have a relationship as a stain contractor with your local fence contractors, with your local deck contractor, power washers, whatever. So brought on a great guest from Indianapolis. We were up at his shop the other day. Has a great location, and it's Shane Catton with Good Shepherd Fence. Shane, thanks
What
for
is
coming
going
on, man.
What's up, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm doing great. You get anything done today? You guys have bad weather?
No, fair weather today, bad weather and tomorrow, apparently. It's what I've heard. So from like 3 or 4 different homeowners, contractors, and the employees. So apparently they're keeping an eye on the weather more than me. So had the advantage to install all day today. So it was a good day so far.
Yeah, usually when everybody tells us the weather's going to be bad, it's sunny tomorrow.
Yeah, 10% chance of drizzle.
Yeah, you plan for bad things and it never happens. So, man, give us the introduction, Good Shepherd Fence. How did that come about? And because I know I don't think you've been in the fence industry your whole life like a lot of us have. So you're newer to the industry. So how did this whole thing get started?
Yeah, I still got that new fence guy smell. I've only been in the business 2 years, so just kind of the quick and dirty version. Good Shepherd was started by Chad Barnes, who is a close friend of mine, and also his son's a close friend of mine. Started Good Shepherd in '96, ran it till about '05. Had about 40, 50 installers at the time, and had the opportunity to kind of get out of the business and be in retail space with his brother and car lots and whatnot. So they went through ownership of that for about 15 years. And another long story short, one of his old installers from back in the day is like, hey, let's get the band back together. Let's install fence. It's on the rise. So they fired the same phone number back up that we've had, the same website, and they couldn't handle it. So my background, being in from the corporate America aspect, was an HR global talent director for Amazon.com, Walmart.com, Chewy.com. So understanding talent, scalability, partnerships, growth, kind of understanding that and seeing an opportunity in a niche market to really help standardize the industry here in Indianapolis, and hopefully learn as I go and teach and train as I go as well. But 2 years ago, Jacob and I took leaves of absences from work right before COVID. We only had 5 team members at the time, and currently we have 45 team members. So we've been able to scale and grow pretty fast, but focusing on that as well. And then Jacob and I purchased out from his father and his former business partner. So Jacob and I own the majority of the business, and then we started a retail site as well. So then we found an opportunity right in the middle of COVID to start a retail side of the business and focus on distribution of stain, distribution of wood guard, buff tech, all kinds of aluminum products, chain link, you name it. And here we are. So 2 years later, we're rocking and rolling. I'm looking for a third location now. We've moved twice, and I need more space. So always a good problem to have. Got a great team. Focus very heavily on culture, training, talent development, opportunities, and a good time. We got Speedway indoor karting here next week, so we always have a quarterly employee event. So last quarter was Top Golf. Now it's indoor karting, so we rent the track out for 2 hours. Everybody has fun, karting, pizza, and all that fun stuff, and that's where it's at. So that's kind of the quick and dirty version of Good Shepherd, how we got in the business, and kind of where we're at now.
Wow, that's a mouthful, man. I had to hear a lot of stuff I didn't know about. So there's a ton of stuff we can dig up later about your background, but it's the common theme I'm hearing is opportunity in striking where the iron's hot. It seems like you saw an opportunity in the fence business to grow and scale it. You did it. Saw an opportunity. Suppliers were dropping the ball, so you decided to start your own supply house. You did it. So here's the opportunity. I give you a call. I'm the local stain contractor, and I go, hey, Shane, you build fences. I stain fences. We should be friends. Tell me about that conversation. And what are you open to something like that as a fence contractor? What does that mean to you? And do you think it's a good deal for other fence contractors to be open to something like that?
I'm 100% open to it, and I would say you're crazy if you don't have those partnerships and those relationships, right? Because let's just face it, depending on your scale and size, not everybody has the capacity to stain, or maybe kind of like building fence, right? You don't want your roofer building your fence, so why would your fence guys build your roof, right? So We partner with the certified, applicators of stain products, and us specifically, it's Stain and Seal. We love Stain and Seal products. We love the customer service. We love the quality, the reputation, right? And we only partner with contractors that apply Stain and Seal products, right? My sales reps are out there basically teeing up the company, saying, hey, if we're going to sell you this awesome fence with this lifetime craftsmanship warranty, you know what you probably should do is what you should probably stain, and you should probably call one of our contractors that we have a list of that we vet very heavily. But I tell folks, even if you're not staining, you can be pressure washing. Everybody pressure washes. Use Florida, for example. I know we got a ton of friends down in Florida that have contractors that are building fence and stuff like that. I'm sure they may not stain, but there's an opportunity to be that one-stop shop or have that relationship and that referral, right? And I know you and I talked last week. We got a couple contractors up here doing it. Provide a job credit. So we're handing out the Stain and Seal flyers, and we're giving out the company information, and they have a credit. Hey, you chose good. Team Good Shepherd. They did a great installation. We back their product. They back us, right? So now it's, why would you really look anywhere else? You could do your due diligence and call and do all that stuff, right? But let's just face it, if you vetted us as a fence contractor, we vet our contractors that we partner with tenfold, because we want to make sure that they're living up to our standard, we're living up to their standard, and everything like that. So I would say it's imperative. You got to have those people in your corner, right? Because they get people all the time that are asking, I need a new fence. I need this. My neighbor needs a new fence. Or, hey, I saw you stain this one. I got a new house. I want you to stain my new fence that I don't have yet. By the way, do you build fence? Absolutely not, Miss Johnson. But Team Good Shepherd doesn't. If you go with them, you get automatically $100 credit or whatever that may be, what kind of incentive program you set up with that partner. But I think it's imperative to have those relationships. It's a relationship-driven business industry, regardless of where you're at, but especially in fence, niche market. Small, not a ton of people do it, but if you find the right people to have them in your corner, I think it's a win-win-win.
What do you think the benefit is to a contractor for fence guys? What's the benefit? Because a common objection stain contractors get is, well, we're not interested. We just, we don't have time to stain. We don't want to work with anybody. We don't want to refer anybody. What's the benefit that you get? As if there's no money involved here, let's just say there's no money and you just refer a stain guy, what do you feel like those benefits are to you if they just follow behind you and stain your fences?
Well, like we said, kind of going back to the vet and the contractors, I know they're going to do the job. I know, hey, if I get a job installed, they communicate with the homeowner. They could probably be out there within the next 1 to 3 weeks, depending on the schedule and what's going on, right? So having that relationship and having that dialogue, I think, is important. So you say, hey, Miss Johnson's going to be done next Tuesday. I know she's tracking with you on stain. She knows we have nothing to do with the stain, but just so you know, having that communication with them is important, and knowing that they're going to follow through. And I didn't just say, go down the road to Ed in his backyard, and I know he has some stain, and he could probably do a good job, right? These guys are a business as well, right? They want their business to succeed just like we want it to succeed, right? And so that's, me personally, I don't charge to tell folks, hey, go to this guy. I don't tell the stain guy, hey, you owe me $100 for this referral and stuff like that. Like, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for strictly getting good business to good customers and good products in their hand with good warranties. And that's, I think, a benefit to working with it. And then the stain guys know I'm staining a good fence. I know that my end result's going to be great. I know that my product's going to last. And you know what? I know that, hey, these pre-built panels might fall or something might happen or whatever, right? Because we're installing the, NAFCA, ASTM, AFA standards, right? So we do it right the first time. Callbacks don't make us money. They're doing a great job. And so it's a win for them. They do great work. Then they have more referrals because, Sally that just got her fence done, she had a great fence built. She had a great opportunity to get it stained, and now she's talking as well. So as we know, I think word of mouth is one of our biggest make or breaks, right? And if you get a bad word of mouth, like it'll break you faster than you can make it.
Sure.
So I think it's critical to have that. Going back to the relationships buzzwords. I know they're going to do a good job. I know they're going to follow up with the customer. I just got off the phone with a customer earlier. communicated the stain contractor's information, name, warranty, stain and seal products, talked it up. So I've already teed up the situation. Now he's going in there with a very warm, vetted lead that is probably 90% or more going to go with us or go with, with Zach. And that's because, his lead time's there, the product's there, they trust us. And I think it's critical to have that relationship, because then you're both not cleaning up anybody's mess. Everybody's doing good and moving forward.
So a fence contractor your size, how many wood fences a year would you say, just or a month, or on the table for a contractor to come behind you?
Oh my word. Last year alone, we probably did 1,400 different jobs in total. And I would say, break that out, there's probably at least 500 to 600 wood jobs out there on the table. There's a lot, we do a lot of lumber, and I'm just shooting from the hip. I'd have to pull up the spreadsheets and look at all that stuff. But we do a lot of wood fence, whether it's cedar, whether it's treated, stuff like that. Cause we additionally have opportunities that some folks don't utilize. For example, wood guard products. I think their product is phenomenal. 25-year warranty on your posts. I think that's great. It's basically a saran wrapped AC2 ground contact treated. So we utilize that a lot of times with our fence. So we got the warranty of the fence, we got the warranty of the post, then we're warranting in the stain. Then we're locked, stocked, and barreled.
Yeah, I like it. So you just said 500 to 600 fences. If it's 600 fences a year, the average fence staining project that we hear about is about $1,800. That's $1,080,000 worth of work right there on average. And if you only get 20% of it, that's still $360,000 a year in staining work. So
I would take it. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty impressive numbers especially when you consider the margin on staining, compared to, $1 million in staining work is totally different than $1 million in fence installs. So would you agree the biggest reason for callback in wood fencing, is it still warping, twisting, cracking, things like that?
Yeah, it absolutely is. And I know, obviously we all know, Sean King, we all work very heavily. I think all three of us work heavily together. And looking at gate bracings, looking at, testing, are we using a 6x6, or are we using a 4x6, or are we using two double 4x4s, and we're lagging them together, right? So we're still finding opportunities in gates and making sure everything's good there. But the standard call, hey, my wood's doing this, my wood's doing that, right? Now we've kind of set up, it was 2 years in the business. I was like, holy cow, I'm having to tell people, like, this was a tree some odd, months, years ago. Like, you're going to have this. You ever seen a branch, right? Like that, and so granted, now we got our wood warranty information in there. Yes, your wood is going to warp, twist, bend, crack, split, do whatever, right? These are some things that if it's a defect, we install it, right? So we try to spear that off at the beginning of the conversation, right? We still have the onesie twosies. Obviously, if it's a banana board and we shouldn't have installed it, right? Like, somebody's going back out and then fixing that board, or whatever. But if it's the minor things, yeah, we're still getting those. So what can we do to prevent that, right? So we're focusing on our gate bracings all over the nation, right? Everybody's talking about gate bracings, and we're packing our posts, we're doing stuff like that, right? Well, what's another big callback? It's what we just talked about, right? So how do we prevent that? We partner with a great stain contractor, get the information out ahead of time, right? And then we're teeing somebody up. So we're then, hopefully we're only focusing on, this kind of the smaller stuff. And we got really the biggest part of our project covered. And, that's our pickets, and that's our, everything else like that, there's opportunity,
Yeah, for sure. So I'll show you guys a quick thing for some of the fence guys that are watching, the warping, twisting, and cracking. We can stop a lot of that by putting a stain and sealer on the fence. So what we always told fence contractors was, if we follow you, your fence is going to be stained, right? So that logo on your shirt right there, that's what your sign looks like. So do you want your sign on gray fences or on beautiful fences? That's a plus. And then the warping, cracking, and twisting, we can eliminate that by throwing something like this up here. So we stain just the top of this board, cut it in half, and you can see stain penetrations coming all the way down. It actually, after time, will go all the way down. and then you had to throw the board away because it's not nearly as impressive with full penetration it is with half. So that's it. But that's the thing that as a fence contractor, that's a huge benefit. Grew up in the fence business, so having one more thing we can do to stop the chance or lessen the chance of a callback is huge, because people call you back for anything. My post cap twisted, my gate twisted, my gate doesn't line up. Go outside and hit it with a hammer. I don't own a hammer.
Somebody stepped on my bush. This happened.
Yeah, it's crazy. So we just always found that if basically the line, the intro that I used for this video is hey, my name's Caleb. I stain fences and you build fences. I just thought we should be friends. It's a great way to break the ice and just be pretty right up front about, hey, let's work together. It just makes sense. And so I kind of want this video to act as kind of a catalyst to maybe get some of you guys off your butt and start calling guys like you to set that relationship up with, because if you're looking for customers to stain fences, why don't you go to the guy who builds them? That's the source. And then the same thing works backwards. If you're a fence guy, reach out to stain contractors, because they got people calling them every day asking for repairs and do you build fence, and it's very symbiotic. So that's what this that's what this whole thing was about today, was bringing that on. If you want, we'll take a couple of we got Mr. Colin Schenk from Mr. Fence saying what's up. Truth Seeker down in Spring Hill today. He's enjoyed a nice rainy, sunny afternoon, but rainy morning. So there's Zach right here. He says he likes having you on his side. So Zach's a stain contractor. So how did that relationship work? Did he just reach out to you guys?
Yeah, Zach. What's up, Zach? Shout out, Zach. Yeah, he reached out to us via email. And honestly, anytime I get those emails, I get excited. I stop what I'm doing, whatever it is. And I want to make sure that I have those conversations where I was like, hey, what's going on? I looked you up on Facebook. I saw your work. It's awesome. I saw your email said you used oil-based. I'll be 100% honest. I really don't refer too much business outside of stain and seal products. Like, whoa, stop where you're at. That's all I use. I've been using them for 3 years. It's the best product in the market. Da, 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 da. So immediately we're best friends. And so I'm like, okay, well, now have we been to a stain and seal university, Caleb? I mean, that's where we met 2 years ago, maybe two and a half. And I was blown away by what we saw there. Am I a stain guy? No, but I know what a fence should look like. I know what, cleaning and, learning all that stuff. Like, well, you got to go to stain. You got to look at the stain 101. Okay, I got this part. We got this opportunity, right? And boom, here we are. We're already giving referrals in a week, right? And customers are already gung-ho, ready to go. We're talking about getting handouts to get in my sales guys' hands and to staple onto our stain and seal brochures or his, whatever that may be. And here we are. I mean, I think it was a great opportunity. He reached out, and I absolutely took advantage of the opportunity, and we were singing the same tune. Another example, a guy owns a company, I think Indie Wash Solutions or something like that up here. Is a pressure washing company. He's like, why? I clean this, I do this, I can do this. And I'm like, well, that's awesome. Have you stained much? He's like, well, yeah, just kind of here and there and whatnot. I'm like, well, have you ever thought about adding that as a caveat to your business model? Because there's an opportunity to make great points there, and if you're already cleaning it, why not stain it while you're there? I mean, you know what I'm saying? He's like, well, that makes sense. I've been thinking about it. I'm like, well, I got an opportunity to partner up with this company. We got this great product. We got these prices, right? And so, I mean, and that guy just dropped off flyers at our door one day. So I try to take full advantage of any time we get an opportunity to meet other people in the business, whether it's staining, whether it's cleaning, whether it's manufacturers, and just create that network, right? I mean, like Sean says, together we get better, right? And I think that's one of the truest hashtags I think we have in fence, and yeah. So I mean, that's how Zach reached out. We connected. He drove down from the Anderson, / Muncie area, and he took time out of his day to come see us to learn a little bit more about us. And now him and I are talking, every other day, developing game plans. What should we do marketing wise? What should we do this wise? What do we do ordering wise? Okay, how do we scale this stuff up? And that's where we're at.
Yeah, man. Well, let's flip the script. Uh-oh, I'm bleeding over into your background. Let's flip the script here and go into kind of maybe sales training or objections mode. Here's an objection a lot of guys have heard from the fence builder. Why should I have you stain the fences that I'm building? Because I want them to fail. I want them to fall over so I can rebuild them every so many years. What do you got to say about that? And how would you overcome that objection? And then talk about that mentality a little bit.
I do not want our fences to fail ever. I mean, I tell folks, obviously kind of lighthearted, jokingly, but at the same time serious, like once I sell you the fence, theoretically, we shouldn't see each other for another 30 years. Unless you buy another house, your kid has a kid and then they have, or you get a lake house, or you do this, or your dog puts your car in drive and it goes to the fence, which happened last week, and, you know, different things like that. Yeah, I mean, really just, it's all about your name. It goes back to the stain guy's doing it right. The fence guy's doing it right. Cause I'll be honest, like if I'm building fences that are failing and the stain guys are going out there to do it right. And then maybe, customers are talking to them. I wouldn't, why are you staining for these guys? Did you see the fence down the block, or something like that. Right. And it goes back to the word of mouth. I don't want my fences to ever fail. That's why I look for the products with the best warranties, the best partnership. We offer a lifetime craftsmanship, and PSA fence guys, like if you're not offering a lifetime craftsmanship warranty, you absolutely need to. And if you're not, I would challenge you. Why are you not? Are you not installing the fence right? Okay, well then if you are, then okay, put that in place, right? Because callbacks don't make us money. In my opinion, it's critical.
Yeah, we do the same on the stain side. We put a lifetime workmanship warranty on it, and people question that. But you got two ways to answer that question. One is workmanship; you pretty much notice it right off.
Yeah,
and we're going to fix it right off. So, and two is if Mrs. Jones calls you in 3 years and says, "Hey, you missed the bottom of underneath a board here," are you going to go back and fix it, or are you going to tell her to pound sand? I think you're probably going to go fix it anyways, right? So you might as well say we're doing because you're going to cover it for life. So I like that, yeah. And so a crazy statistic, you hear about the same guys that say we want our fence to fall down so we can rebuild it, or the same guys that say, well, lumber is not as good as it used to be, and so it's like, well, why don't you do something to preserve the trees or the lumber we've got? So the trees that are growing can grow a little bit longer, maybe, and maybe we'll have better lumber, there's a crazy statistic on how many trees are cut down every year. Do you know how many it is?
I would be baffled to hear the number. Let's hear it.
Here it is. I don't know the number, but if you put the trees end to end like this, end to end, it can go to the moon and back 6 times every year.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's like a real statistic. So the thought of that is like, it's pretty crazy what we're doing, and right. So it is what it is. Let's try to make a difference where we can. So here's another question for you. Let's see. It says, I'm going to clean. So this is James Brown. I like that name. And if I'm going to clean a painted deck to get the green algae off, would I use Eco Cleaner? Yep. They don't want to repaint or stain it. My friend gets leads from a deck builder. So a couple of thoughts here, but yeah, Eco Cleaner. It's sodium percarbonate based. It's green. It fuzzes. It bubbles. So it'll get the algae off. And if they don't want to repaint it, it should be fine. And getting leads from a deck builder is pretty awesome. That's great. So can I go down a rabbit trail with you real quick? You said, tell me what your background is again.
So my background is a little bit diverse. Started off in family-owned manufacturing. So went to school, finally decided on my major my junior year, ended up doing HR management through the Business College of Ball State, and then organizational communication minor. And so worked in family-owned manufacturing, started off in vibratory feeder bowls, elevators, hoppers, inline. So basically all automation equipment for automation lines. And then went from there to another family-owned manufacturing company. So being the lead HR guy there, they did cabinets, racks, enclosures, and all kinds of welding stuff. Worked with Microsoft and Becton Dickinson and all kinds of people, right? And then got the opportunity. Amazon reached out to me in 2016 and I joined the fulfillment side of the business. And I'm sure everybody's familiar with, I got to order a pair of shoes on Amazon. It's going to show up to my house in a day. Well, that was our division supporting that. So very, in 2016, Amazon was beefing up, but they weren't completely beefed up. They didn't have the buy nows. They didn't have all this other stuff, right? And so I got an opportunity to move to Jeffersonville, Indiana, work at one of their legacy sites. So we did network jewelry, we did shoes, clothes, bags, anything that could fit in a tote, we shipped out of our building. And then went from supporting and family-owned manufacturing, like 135 employees, a couple people on the executive team, board members, to just one site alone, we had 6,500 people. So I went from, kind of nothing to something real fast, and, 24/7, you're constantly going. So you developed a lot of processes, a lot of white papers there at Amazon to focus on talent and training and growing talent in the business that we already have, right, versus losing it. Moved to Austin, Texas, worked on the robotics side of the business. So basically the automated fulfillment side of the business. So helped launch that. And then Chewy.com recruited me from there to help scale and launch for their IPO. So I was there about a year. And then Walmart reached out to me and they said, hey, we want you to help us compete against Amazon, yada, yada. So joined Walmart, traveled the globe with them for about a year and a half. And that was pre-COVID. And 24/7 life is a little bit taxing. We always called it, 1 year's dog years. So your Amazon life, it was like you do one, you did seven, I kind of got burnt out. I wasn't fulfilled in the fulfillment industry. Was checking the boxes, doing that stuff, and then COVID was around, and I was like, man, I don't want to travel in these buildings with 6,000-7,000 people. End up, whatever. So Chad was reaching out to me, found the opportunity, took a 60-day leave of absence. Day 30, I knew, Walmart, you can have your laptop back, and everything like that, and so. In that 30 days, I was able to scale the company from about 5 to 15 team members, bought a few more trucks, was running rampant, and just saw a great opportunity to grow. And I always call the fence business kind of an oil field that hasn't been mined. There's so much opportunity out there. It's a pencil and paper business. Like when we first jumped in, like it was, hey, go find that folder. I think it's in the other room. I think the contract's in there, and crap, it's not in there. I gotta, we can run the business off our phone now. And I just saw an opportunity to scale, grow. And I think Matt Warner said, God's given us the blessing to take care of folks, give opportunity, right? And develop that, because those people trust us just as much as we trust them. And that's what really was stringing the bells there. So I said, hey, I got to jump into this 100%. And just the connections I've been able to make in the business, just like yourself, from Dan Block to Matt to the guys in Hawaii to, suppliers all over the place, right? Like I've never been in such a supportive industry. And even now, I think it's a lot better than what I was in 2 years ago. I think if people are a lot more open to talk now, which I think was awesome. Just like now, I wouldn't think, 2 years ago, I'd be able to, talk to this guy here, just out here, share this idea here, create the relationships locally with my fence companies. I even know Dan Block, my fence life, he'll say, hey man, don't compete against me, compete with me. He's like, come on into my office. Let's talk about this stuff. Right. I'll stop by, fence guys' jobs. Like, dude, you guys are building an awesome fence. Like, just to let you know, this is looking killer. I'm not recruiting. I'm not doing anything. I'm just complimenting, wanting to meet people, bumping into people's gas stations. So that's the background. That's what brought me into it. And I'm not going anywhere. I'm in it to win it. I haven't looked at corporate America the same since.
So what did you do? So I think guys are going to find this interesting. You can run it from a cell phone now. What does that mean?
So when I get into the business, I said, if I'm going to work for myself and work with the team and do all that stuff, right? No matter where I'm at, I want to be able to have the data to make the right decisions, right? So Amazon, all those big guys, right? It was a point, click, shoot. I could have this, I could have this, I could have that, right? I can understand my labor metrics, what to buy, what not to buy. Well, Fitz, you can't really do that. So then it's, just like everybody's trying everybody's trying the ARC sites. My salesmen love my salesman. We utilize it. It's one of our pre-qualifiers. Like, you have to have a my salesman to have an on-site consultation, right? Like, our sales guys are wanted. That people want them to come out and, just do a little due diligence. But and what was the first part of that question again?
I just want to know what you did to make you be able to run your phone from the cell phone.
That's right. Yeah. From the cell phone. What I did, I guess, was I just started asking questions of people. What are you doing? What works? How do you, even the service industry, which I would almost do, the home service industry is kind of what we're in to an extent, right? So some of the heating and cooling businesses that I sold fences for the owners, like, they're very big companies. And I asked for an hour of their time. Like, what works for you? How did you get from 20 to 40, 40 to 90, 90 to 900, right? Like, what softwares are you using? And now all of us fence guys are talking softwares. And I said, okay, I don't want contracts on paper anymore. I want everything electronic. I want everything to be simple to the customers. I want it to be point, click, shoot. And really, I don't want them to be worrying about the cost or the getting this out and getting that. Like, we can do this. I want the relationship time to happen. My guys don't go on more than 3 estimates a day, maybe 4 max if one's in the same neighborhood, right? Like, let's focus on taking care of our customers to where, the software side of things, I remember running estimates until, writing them until like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, handwritten. Like, I was hating my life. I was like, there's got to be an easier way. Like, and I'm not reinventing the wheel. So who's got the wheel? Let me take it. And so I just started finding software. We utilize Jobber. I know some folks do. I know Brian Fredrickson, Las Vegas Fence. I know he uses Jobber. He's testing out a few other softwares. We use My Salesman. We got the Hearth Financial. We got Synchrony. We got all these things kind of working in tune. Plus some internal things going on. I'm not as automated as Dan and the Fence King team down there, maybe one of these days. But my thing is, if a customer calls me, I want to know when we talked to them last, what the communication was, what our layout is, did they sign my contracts, is everything here to where I'm going into a situation guns loaded. I never want to not have information to either follow up with the customer, give them the right answer or something like that. And so that was my thing, is like, as a business owner, let's face it, you got to take a break once in a while, right? But at the same time, you can't. So you got to be connected. So 2 years ago, I couldn't go on a vacation with my family and be comfortable here because I didn't know, do we have all the folders laid out? Like, is everybody tracking on this? Like, no, it's all right here. Like, just look at your schedule. Now my foreman can see, hey, on next Wednesday, you're going to go to the storage facility and install the gate, and we're going to look at the automator, we're going to do this, and you know what you're going to do on Friday, and then they're tracking on everything. Our notes are in there. We use a crew app for internal communication, looking to get into connect teams. I think that's a big win for the fence business. So I literally I found Jobber one night at 2 a.m. after being pissed off of constantly trying to find the folder and stuff. I'm like, okay, what works, what doesn't work? So literally it's just trial and error. Stuff fails, stuff wins, stuff you got to tweak. But it was just the accessibility of data and information to make the right decision for my business. And I didn't have that. So we had to solve the problem. Just like woodworking, we stain it, we solve some of the problem, right? So that's kind of how I kind of found all this stuff and did it, if you will.
And it's never ending, is it?
Never. There's always something to do.
Yeah. I'm interested in the Connect Team app too. I know we've looked at it for a while, but creating communication and curating knowledge in your business is kind of important. And I think the Connect Team does a good job of that from what I've heard. So, okay. All right. So here's from Kenny Dugan. Stainman, give a shout out to your mentors. Who's helped you to get where you are today?
Nice. I would say, let's see here. My mentors, I say I got quite a few non-fence guys that are here locally that run businesses, whether it's hydrovacing, who we partner with on commercial jobs and stuff like that. And he's kind of followed the same scale and growth, and we're constantly doing this and that. And he's mentoring me and I'm mentoring him. If we're going to talk about the fence business, who mentors me in the fence business, everybody, I'd say some of the top guys. I mean, I found Sean online 2 years ago and brought him into the business a year ago. And my guys were your standard fence guys. Like, we're wet setting everything. We're doing this, we're doing that. We're not doing this. My great uncle did this and it still works, right? Like we always say that. It's like, no, like there's other things to do, so we like brought him in, and his team is obviously they've been working at it for 25, 30 years on perfecting the craft and the trade and the customer service, and being a sponge of knowledge, and being in the academy, I think, is a big thing. Like Glenn, his business coach who runs Unique Escapes, Glenn's the guy that holds your feet to the fire. I mean, he understands, when stuff's hitting the fan, he understands what's going on, how to analyze, and stuff like that. I would say he's, has been a, key indicator to some of our steps in growth for sure. I mean, getting stuff to the next level, looking at strategic pricing, I can only sales coach my guys so much, right? Or, oh, hey, maybe you've only heard it for so much. Then boom, we hear it from this other side. He's got different examples. And I think that works. But Matt Warner, I think he's great. Him setting the culture scene, I think is phenomenal. All the way down to scaling your business. Like I think Matt said, he's had it all, he's lost it all, and he's gained it all back. Right. And it's about focusing on the people. I think I can like nitpick a little bit out of everybody. They mentor me in different areas. Because let's just face it, like I say, like I don't wear a cape, can't do it all. Neither can everybody, right? So everybody's kind of got a little special caveat with me, and whatnot. Now I still haven't gotten on TikTok yet. I know everybody's still TikToking. So nobody's mentored me to TikTok yet. So if somebody can mentor me to get a TikTok, I don't know. They're pretty up there because a lot of people are doing it and I haven't done it yet. But, I got a lot of local guys that, I'm with. I started a business masterminds group with a couple local business leaders, and we meet up once a month. And it's everybody from the commercial insurance to site development to the marketing to the videography to whatever it may be. And they kind of mentor me in different areas, and we poke holes in problems and solve issues together and stuff. So Kenny, I don't know if I could give a one answer shot on that. There's a lot of people, but I can tell you, shout out to Sean King and the Mr. Fence team. They've been great. I send my guys down to training. He comes up and does training. And even when he comes up and does training, or he's down, like I'm there as well. Granted, I'm not installing the fence, but I know, okay, I didn't know we're doing this, or we need to be doing this, or you got this rail or something like that, right? Oh, that makes sense. Not a fence guy by trade, but I'm a fence guy, every day trying to learn more and do. So, I don't know, a couple different. Caleb, what about you? Who's your mentor?
Same. I mean, a lot of people, but I think it's important to have those mentors. And I also think it's important to have a group of peers. Like you're meeting with your business group, your different guys in different industries that are probably all, they're probably all within, I don't know, I won't even say, but you're going to have guys that you get together and you talk about things in your business, and what you discover is, hey, the banker has similar problems in his business. The guy who puts in hardwood floors has got similar issues. You find out that issues, business problems, are pretty universal. And then the cool thing is the problem Shane had, and he's, we figured that out. So now if that problem happens at my house, I can fix it, right? And then everybody, you get that group of peers. It's a powerful thing, and you see collaboration. People just they move up faster, right?
There's power in numbers, baby. And I hate reinventing the wheel. I'll be the first to say it. Like if I could steal it, put my logo on it, Good Shepherdize it, Midwest, boom, let's do it. Like let's make it make sense. And I can tell you, yeah, like you said, syncing up with peers, not just necessarily fence guys, but like I know Dan Block does it too, and a couple other folks. It's like what's going on in your employee culture issue? How do you navigating this? Or, hey, we got this issue. Shane, what have you seen? You got an HR background, or you do HR every day. Like, let's be honest, everybody does a little bit of HR every day and you don't think it. This is what I would do, right? Like, let's solve problems together and let's all win.
Yeah, no doubt about it. HR is a fun thing. And so I may call upon you one day. The day may never come, but one day I may call upon you, you know.
You can fly me in if you need it.
The old Godfather thing. But yeah, man, that's cool stuff. So I'm excited. I guess we haven't told anybody, but it looks like, you know, Zach, you kind of hinted at it earlier. It sounds like your supply company, Midwest, is gonna start carrying stain. What's that look like for people, and what's the service area?
Yeah, absolutely. So Midwest Fence Supply, which is the logo right here on my arm. It's our sister company. It's our supply business. So yeah, absolutely. Supply and stain. I mean, we're definitely we're gonna be stocking the powerful colors, the top ones, the pecans, the chestnuts, the big sellers, right? And that's a conversation that I'm having with the stain guys, the wash guys, is how many pallets are you going through? How many buckets are you going through? What's your top sellers for last year? What do you think is going to be a top seller for this year, right? Is there something I can keep in stock for you? Is there stuff we can drop ship, as we know, or we can get an order in place or something like that, right? So that's kind of, where we're at. I mean, that's what I'm asking the companies we're partnering with. Hey, what do you need from us to be successful? If we can get something here in our door today, tomorrow, this week, this month, can the stock inventory, what's going to set you up for quick turn and burns? Get in, get out, stay and have a great time, go to the next one, right? And some of these guys are analyzing their business right now, maybe more than what they even thought of. How do I prep, for supply, or how do I push more, get more, pay less, right? And that's kind of what we're doing right now. So I'm having those conversations individually with people we partner with. Stocking the proper stuff, right? The onesie twosies, we can always do our drop ship with you guys, and have that partnership. But I mean, that's just kind of where we're at. I mean, I'm not gonna just fill my yard full of every stain and then we've got it, right? I want to be strategic about it, because if we can buy even more bulk numbers, distribute more, right? Everybody's saving money. They get more points on their stain, fences, decks, pergolas, whatever that may. So that's kind of how I'm tackling it, day by day, week by week. What do you like? What do you don't like?
Yeah.
What makes sense? And going from there.
It's the typical stain guy thing. I mean, if you offer 18 colors, they're going to choose one of 18 colors. If you offer 3 colors, they're going to choose one of the 3 that you got in stock. So that's a good thing. It's the same with aluminum fence, right? You carry flat top and spear point, right? You carry the 2 styles, and the 75 other styles that are available. Those are special order, right?
Yeah, we can get it. It'll be a minute. We get it.
Yep. So that's the thing. So you just kind of opened my eyes to just make a shout out and say, hey, if you're similar to Shane here, and you think maybe you're somewhere else, maybe there's opportunity there. If you're a fence guy and maybe you don't want to stain, maybe that's your opportunity, is find guys who will stain the fences you build, and then you carry the supply in your supply house and sell it to them, make it easy for them. So that's a win for the customer, a win for you, and a win for the 10 contractors who come and buy products. So
absolutely,
that's a good win. Yeah, so we need to get you on again another time to talk about this talent thing you talked about. What did you do for growing talent or exploiting talent on your team for Amazon or whoever?
Well, when I was at Amazon, we found I found an opportunity. So I worked on the talent management side of HR. So it's not the time clocks and the lunches and all that stuff, right? It was what are we going to do to grow the business? How are we going to set us up for success, not just this month, not next year, but the next 5 years from now? And how are we setting our team members up, right, for success? Well, I saw an opportunity. I was like, hey, I'm attriting my assistant managers hand over fist. And these guys have been in the business the longest. They've been in the business longer than a senior manager making 190 grand, and these guys can actually run the business better than them, but they just haven't had the opportunity to grow, to scale, to run the business, right? Or maybe they don't have the degree or something. And so I said, hey, instead of losing $2-5 million a site a year in attrition, and anytime you lose somebody, right, you don't just lose somebody. Now you got to find somebody. You got to do the work to do it. You got to train them right. And there's money in training. And then there's proficiency in path time right. And that proficiency is path, getting somebody trained up to do the job right. So I said, hey, what if we develop this fast track to management program? And everybody that's been here in 90 days or has a degree and goes through a very rigorous interview process, not just with me, it's through the general manager, top down, up down. Let's get them in a path to where they're basically a salaried manager running a department. We'll supervise, we'll coach, train, weekly touch-ins. And if you successfully pass the program after the 16-week course was over, then you were eligible to interview in a pod. The pod was allowing you to basically take that next step and, get everybody's blessing on, okay, yeah, you're prepared to run a business. You can go interview and stuff like that. And almost immediately, in just my one site alone, I think we promoted like 15, 16 people within 2 business quarters. And I think that was awesome. Then the people above them are getting promoted, right? Because then they're saying, hey, you're promoting, you're growing talent, you're training, they're learning, right? I'm not attriting. Then the entry level folks, they say, hey, I got an opportunity to grow. If I didn't get in here, but I can get in right here and I can show my worth, let's do it. And then I just scaled it out across the globe, and it's from here to Europe to China to whatever, but we just didn't have anything in place. It was just like, you shoot in and you did your thing. I have friends from college. It was like, hey, I saw Amazon's hiring. I'm just going to get an associate level and I'll work my way up. And it's like, unfortunately, Amazon's got millions of employees and it sucks to get stuck in that churn, but how'd you stand yourself out, right? Well, get in this program, succeed, and you make more money while you're in the program, and then boom, you're promoted and now life's good. So just finding opportunities for growth, talent, cost savings, risk analysis, stuff like that. It's kind of like my passion is kind of finding a problem, seeing how we can solve it. And that was just one of the problems that we were able to help solve with Amazon and, utilize my team and all those guys and training. And so I could talk about warehousing all day. We did everything. That was just one thing.
That's awesome. So it sounds a whole lot like, instead of top-down leadership, you flip-flopped it to bottom-up leadership, kind of. So that translates, right? That translates right over into all the trades. So how have you taken that and used it in the fence business or the, if you're an electrician or a plumber or whatever, how could you utilize that? Because it sounds like you're taking people who've got a lot of potential and maybe they aren't given an opportunity to show off their worth, or they're not given the chance, and you're actually giving them the chance but you're training them through the process and holding their hand. How can we utilize that and know, or maybe what are the signs of the right person to do that with, or whatever? What are you looking for?
Yeah. I kind of hire, I say, Sean King all the time, just like him, right? It's like, you don't necessarily need to have fence experience. Like we'll train that. That's easy. It's, it's the character. I kind of got a little saying that I always say is like, if you're not vibing, you ain't riding. It's like, you got to vibe with the team, be able to ride the trucks, do that stuff, because you ain't riding the trucks. And okay, now what's going on, right? But I tell my guys, I took a few leadership principles from my former life, and I said, I think these are imperative here. Everything from, here's one that somebody always forgets, frugality mindset, right? It's always easy to spend somebody else's money when it's not yours. Here, I did this. I cut this post in half. Screw it. I don't need that. I'll just buy another one, right? I tell my guys, think with a frugality mindset, right? Like, where can we be smart? Where can we save money? Where can we do this, right? Whether it's just keeping an eye on the oil and the beavers, right? Like, you don't need to run a beaver with no oil, being able to deal with ambiguity, right? Like, things change every day. Things happen, right? Being able to navigate that, understand what's going on, communicate a change, coordinate with a customer and a homeowner, right? Because if my foreman's on a job or something like that, like, that's what they should be doing, or communicating with the team. Invent and simplify. I think that's another great one. For Cody in my weld shop, I think he's great. Like, hey, we see a problem. Let's weld this, let's fab this. Or the guys are like, hey, like, I found this tool on Amazon. I think this is totally neat. Like, pitch me an ROI and I'm probably going to buy it. Like, hey, if we buy this new $7,000 welder, we won't start, we won't have any downtime on this. We won't do this, and we can crank this stuff out, right? Like, okay, maybe I had to go visit the weld shop a couple times, kick the tires on it, but I bought it, right? It made sense. These guys come to me and they show me the value, right? Just like when it comes to a review, just like I had to tell, my higher ups, like, this is why I should get a raise. Yeah. No, I'm not a 3 percentile. I'm actually a 6 percentile on the raise category because I was able to do this, and this for the company. Right. And I think bringing a lot of those in, just some of the small, I wouldn't even call them small principles, but some of the small statements that they brought, I think they're impactful because the guys think about that stuff, and they'll do something. It's like, frugality mindset, baby, so then it's ingrained. Or they'll be like, all right, yeah, sure, it ain't your money. Okay, I'm sure you do that, or whatever. So now everybody's kind of holding everybody accountable, being able to invent and simplify, I think, is big. Or, being able to problem solve. Like, we pay people well, we trust them, and we also anticipate, the best from them, right? So it's like, how do I set you up for success then to give you autonomy to make a decision? Because nobody wants to work for somebody that's like, well, you're not going to do that because you're not going to. Okay, there's some red tape, there's some ground rules, right? It's like, I'm not building the fence. I'm not in the backyard. I don't know what's probably going to work the best, or you're there. Caleb, what are you going to do? You've been building a fence for 15 years. Well, I think I would do this, and this because it works, right? Like, boom, perfect, roll with it, communicate with the customer, right? Like, I push a lot back on the team to challenge them, but at the same time, it's like, I trust you.
It's empowerment.
Yeah, like, why not make the decision? If it makes sense, like, do it. And I always tell them, like, we fail hard and we fail fast and we learn. We win as a team. We take hits on the chin as a team. But hopefully we have, whether it's an action item or a learned, a couple bullet points, like, hey, look, we're not going to do this again. Then we cover it in our 7 a.m. Monday meetings for all hands, which I think is important for companies to do. Find a dedicated time to meet with your team and talk about that stuff. Talk about the opportunities for growth. Talk about your leadership principles that you have in place. Because a lot of the guys don't have that. Everybody's got an employee development packet. Some people here and they're like, what's an employee development packet, right? Like, I want you to tell me where you want to be developed at. I want you to tell me where you think you're good at. I want you to tell me where your opportunities lie. And so then now we're setting goals, so then now they have goals. They got autonomy to make decision, right? They're growing with more knowledge, with decisions comes money. Everybody's happy. Fence gets installed great. Customers communicated with, and everybody wins, I think. So kind of going back to that win-win-win, right? Like, that's like my favorite thing to do.
Yep.
So it's the full autonomy, right? Like, make decisions, have, communicate, do all that stuff.
Well, for the guys that are listening, that aren't picking up on this, what he's describing, frugality mindset, good communicator, invent and simplify, these are kind of core values. And the reason we have these in a business is because, Fred, you let the freaking little beaver run out of oil, you idiot, versus, hey, Fred, when the little beaver, when you didn't check the oil and it ran out of oil, were you using a frugality mindset? Was that now we can focus on the issue at hand and not the person. So, and that's all about core values. It's like you make core values that you live and die by, right? So, or hire and fire by, whatever you want to say. But all of those, invent and simplify, all of those sound a whole lot like core values to me. So those are great. I love them.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, I might have, stolen from other people, but hey, I can tell you one thing is they're so freaking applicable. Being forthright, like when you're in it every day and they're like, frugality mindset, think, do this, do that. You're like, oh my God, I got to hear it again, and then, you kind of take a step back and understand it. And then you're like, holy cow, this makes sense. You keep doing it more. And now it's like, if you're in your own business, like that's really how you want people to think. You want to have the autonomy. You want to have the trust. You want to have the rapport. You don't want them to feel like they're chained down and they can't make a decision without cutting 16 things of tape, and then they're not going to be successful.
Well, so like, culture.
Yeah. So if they're not successful, you're not successful, and I want to make sure we're successful. So anything I can do to set folks up for success, whether it's internally or externally, cough, Zach, stuff like that. Like, that's what we're in it to do.
Right. For sure, man. That's good stuff. So you guys study core values and get them in your business, or core principles, or core tenets. There's different names for them, but things that are important in your business. Those are things that you can judge. You can use them. Discipline sounds harsh, but you can use them to make corrective action in your business, and you can base it on the value, not my opinion. Like if you if you bought the welder and it's like, well, hey, we're going to invent and simplify. This welder is going to make us this, and this. It's going to save us 10 grand this year or whatever. Well, okay, you were being frugality and you were inventing and simplifying. Okay, roger that. Let's keep moving. So think about core values. It's a good thing. Shane, man, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Where can people come and find you at? If they need a fence, if they need supplies from Midwest, how do we look you up?
Yes, absolutely. So you can always reach out to me directly. I guess I got 2 emails if you want. You can email me at Good Shepherd, email me at Midwest. It's just Shane, SHANE, at goodshepherdfencecompany.com. It's a long one. Pack your lunch. Or you can reach out to me at Shane at MDWST. It's Midwest without any vowels, fence.com, MDWSTfence.com. We're on LinkedIn. I'm active on there. We're active on most social media platforms. I mean, you got your Facebook, you got the Instagram, all that stuff, right? And apparently I was actually, while we were talking about TikTok earlier, apparently we do have a TikTok now. I know Jacob was talking to me yesterday about it. We're on there as well. So, I mean, we can always post the stuff on there, but just give us a search on any of those platforms. Reach out to our team. We're always available. As far as Midwest, it's www.mdwstfence.com. As far as supply goes, if we can get a truck there, we'll get it to you. That's what I always say. Obviously with some of the logistics these days and stuff like that, some people can't get this, some people can't get that. Reach out to me. We can figure it out because I know some folks are cut off with this person. They can't buy this because they don't sell as much here. Or they don't do this, right? Like, I want to be that. I want to be the middleman helping anybody, right? So, I serve Central Indiana. I serve the state of Indiana, but I've sent trucks north, south, east, and west across state lines before, and we're not scared to do it again.
Awesome, man. Well, soon to be on the shelf there, Stain and Sill, the expert brand. Where is it? There it is. Product placement. Don't know if you noticed that or not.
That's right.
Yeah, but hey, man, we appreciate you, and thanks for being a part of the show. Looks like this will get played over and over again, and people will see it, and maybe somebody will pick up some knowledge from it. So that's it. I will let you go because I know you got a dinner date soon, and so thanks for coming, man. We appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you. Great product, great partnership, and if anybody ever needs anything, reach out. If you just want to network with me, reach out. Email me. My cell phone's 317-903-9618. Call, text, smoke signal, FaceTime. Let's figure something out. Let's get a coffee, get a lunch, have a Zoom call, do a podcast. We can do whatever.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, we'll be seeing you soon. Appreciate you coming.
Hey, appreciate you. Thanks, Caleb.
All right, man. We'll see you.